Hello, my friends. My name is Darren Gerdes. I'm just a professor trying to give you context in the war in Ukraine. If you're looking for Ukrainian war news, this is the place. This is the Daily Brief, June 23rd, 2024. 1,270 Russians are off the battlefield, 10 tanks, 15 armored combat vehicles, 61 artillery pieces, 44 vehicles and fuel tanks. The news is as good today as it was bad yesterday. So just buckle up here. Okay, here we go. Andrew Perpetua was talking about the losses that he could identify: 41 Russian losses, 27 Ukrainian losses, so not quite 2 to 1, but it's still something. When I look at what's going on here, there's casualties in Kharkiv. Zelensky's talking about 19 casualties, 3 fatalities in Kharkiv. What's going on with this? Well, there's the Russians are still attacking, but the Ukrainians are counter-punching in a significant way today that we just didn't see yesterday. So here, RT, watch, Russians are heavy bomb on Ukrainian positions, and they're talking about how they use this Fab 3000 bomb equipped with a guidance module, and it blew up allegedly. Now, again, this is RT, so you have to take it with a grain of salt. Up to 70 Ukrainian service members were reportedly killed in the attack. But again, remember, they say these things, and they say wild things without proof, so that may be or it may not be. Here, the Russian Defense Ministry has yet to comment. Okay, so we don't know what's actually going on with that. We know that some bomb blew something up. We don't know anything more than that from there. Overnight, the Russians launched 3 Caliber cruise missiles into Ukraine. 2 of them were shot down in the Kyiv region, so one gets through and it can do some damage. In addition to the missiles and artillery, Russia is dropping over, get this, 100 unguided glide bombs against Ukraine every single day. Like, they're still doing it. Now, it's not as effective as it was in the first days of the Kharkiv offensive because they've been able to push some back. So just imagine how much worse that would be. But still, 100 unguided glide bombs against Ukraine every day. This will not end until Ukraine has a capability to shoot down Russian aircraft that launch at them, typically from 50 kilometers away. Now, there's a big debate in Washington over, it looks like Washington said, yes, you can go after these close by bases. No, we can take the gloves off. You can go from wherever. Jake Sullivan was saying something like, well, of course, you can go to wherever it was. And then it looks like that was walked back a little bit. It's a hard thing to tell, but Zelensky's are still on message. We need strong decisions from our partners so that we can destroy Russian terrorists, their combat aviation, wherever they are. And that seems like it's a pretty fair standard. Okay, Kryvyi Rih engulfed in acrid black smoke after a metallurgical plant accident, reportedly due to a power outage. Sometimes when you see things, it's not because of an airstrike. It's just a fire actually breaks out because a fire breaks out because something, accidents do happen. And it looks like that's what was causing this. But what's causing this is because of the power outage, it had that became the cause of the accident, so it's indirectly still part of what's going on. Okay, Ukraine's Air Force hits command post in Russia's Belgorod Oblast. Ukraine's Air Force successfully struck Russian motorized regiment command post inside Russia. According to the general staff, the command post was reportedly located in the village of Yekva. Excuse me, I'm working on it. I'm trying to pronounce things. It's right across the border over from Kharkiv into Belgorod. Here, Ukraine launched tens of drones on Russia's Bryansk region, according to Russian officials. Ukraine launched tens of drones overnight targeting Russia's western region of Bryansk and other regions, but with no reported damage, of course, because there's never any reported damage, Russian officials said on Sunday. At least 30 drones were destroyed over Bryansk, which borders on Ukraine, the governor of the region said. Uh, Russia's air defense systems also destroyed drones over Smolensk. Okay. According to preliminary information, there were no casualties or destruction in either region, the governor said. It's almost like they get paid for saying that there's no damage. It's fascinating to watch. An air raid alert was announced for the Lipsk region, several hundred kilometers south of Moscow. Reuters could not independently verify the reports. But if you look on Telegram and on Twitter, you can find all kinds of things. So here, the Russian installed governor claims missiles were shot down. Missiles danger is still active. Reportedly, this is a video of the successful attack on the command point at a motorized rifle regiment on the Russian occupiers of Nekhorovka, Belgorod region. That's the one we were just talking about before. Here's the Sevastopol, Yepatoria, and other occupied cities in Crimea. Smoke can be seen rising in the Bay of Sevastopol. Another view of that same thing. 22 people injured, 2 killed in an attack on Sevastopol, according to the occupation authorities. One of the targets was shot down by Russian air defense over the central district of Sevastopol, between the city center and Streleyska Bay. Details are still being clarified. So it's going, and you can see damage here. The strike on Russian Air Defense Training Center near Yeysk, where Shahed UAV operators were based, caused significant damage and destruction. The attack was carried out using Neptune long-range missile and a group of UAVs. And so where was that? I didn't know where that is. So here's Mariupol on the Sea of Azov. It's right across in Russia, across the Sea of Azov. And I guess they thought they were perfectly safe right there, but they weren't. Okay, Ukrainian guerrillas, this isn't drones, this is guerrilla actions, sabotage the Rostov-Mariupol railroad line. Again, there's a railroad line that is connecting here down to here. So this is going to be the alternative to when the Kerch Bridge or whatever is destroyed down here and they can't get resources in. This is how they're going to fuel this, and so these saboteurs are hitting that rail line. It also serves as a key access point to the sea route. An explosion is heard in the area of Cossack Bay, where the 110th Russian Black Sea Marine Brigade is based. I could not find Cossack Bay except in Canada. So if anybody knows where Cossack Bay is, put that in the comments below, because, I'm learning my geography as I go. Okay, the Russians thought that they would take Ukrainians by surprise, exploiting old pipes in Chasiv Yar. Okay, so they were going to go through underground pipe systems. Of course, drones with thermal cameras saw right through their plot, and that became kind of problematic for survival. Jay in Kiev made this really interesting comment, and there was this video. This is a Russian soldier. Here is a drone that's about to make that Russian soldier's life no longer. For the salary of an assistant night manager at any American McDonald's, Russians agree to murder people in Ukraine. No, I mean, I think that's a very fair and accurate understanding of what's actually going on. Such a wild disparity in value systems, and an $80 homegrown Ukrainian drone rectifies that situation. It's really amazing to think about what the value system is that would cause people to do that. Commander of NATO forces in Europe says that Russia will continue to pose a threat to the West for many years to come. I think that's right. I don't think this is over in 2024. It's going to keep going. So we're going to have a big problem with Russia for many years to come, and I think we have to prepare for that, says Christopher Cavoli. And I think what we're going to have to prepare for is not just that Russia's going to keep coming, but they're going to keep instigating, trying to get other conflicts brewing in other places in order to make it most likely that they're going to be successful, as they are in it for the long haul, because they are in it for the long haul. Russian propagandists now claim that their target in Kharkiv was not a residential building. Okay, that's great. But a police hospital. Their open admission of calls for war crimes is truly outrageous. I mean, it's not like that's better. Okay, at any rate, we got to keep going. 1 year ago today, Prigozhin's Wagner PMC announced the March of Justice. Do you remember that? I remember that vividly. Against the Russian military establishment, Prigozhin marched with his mercenary army to Rostov-on-Don, seized the southern military headquarters, after which he marched toward Moscow, demanding that Shoigu and Gerasimov would resign. Well, Shoigu is no longer in position, but of course, Prigozhin's also no longer with us. In the end, Lukashenko brokered a deal between Prigozhin and Putin, and Prigozhin retreated, and then you know what happened to his plane 2 months later. Okay, here it is in RT, and of course I'm not going to go through the RT because you know how RT is. Here it is in BBC. I talked about this a year ago. Here, what's his game plan? We're trying to figure it out. I'm like, it doesn't make sense. Is he trying to take this over so that he can be in charge of the military? And first estimates of that. That's what it looked like. And then we talked about, number of questions about it. If you want me to go and repost this, I'll do that. Just put in the comments below if that's what you want me to do, so that you can see what happened 1 year ago today. I don't know that I'm going to make another video talking to myself, because that's a little weird, but okay. I'm going to end on this note. 100-year, this has nothing to do with Ukraine, but it's awesome. 105-year-old grandmother received her master's degree from Stanford University. She had attended Stanford graduate school in the 1940s, but could not graduate due to World War II. 84 years later, she finally completed that journey. So Virginia dropped out so that she could marry her fiance, who was off to World War II. And 84 years later, she finally completed her master's degree. Now, if this was carried in RT, how would they actually frame this same article? I think it would be something like, it's taking Americans longer and longer to graduate, or it's taking Americans record 84 years in order to graduate from college, even though it's a graduate degree, and she dropped out to support her husband who get married before World War II. But that's how it would work. All right, that's all, my friends. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the likes, the shares, the subscribes, and thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.